been a lot going on. I actually wrote down a couple things, some notes, and some interesting stuff I saw throughout the week that we maybe can talk about.
What were you looking at this week?
Well, first off, you sent me some information about Act Leaving Everyday Struggle. I thought that was pretty interesting. Last week, I know we were talking about award shows. The last time we spoke, we talked about reward shows, and the Soul Train Awards happened. So I thought maybe we could talk about that. And lastly, Obama's comments on defunding the police.
Oh yeah, and at the same time, it was an AOC recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Well, what do you want to start first? The awards. When was the Soul Train?
Let me see when it happened. I think it happened maybe like 5 days ago, a week ago or so. But it's the Soul Train Awards, and I don't know. We were talking about more so how I don't really pay attention to like the Grammys and shit like that because I don't expect for them to get it right. If there's anybody who I would expect to get it right, it would be the Soul Train Awards. You know what I mean? And it seems like, I don't know, these winners, I'm not too mad at these winners.
Who were nominated and who were the winners?
All right, let me go. I'm gonna go to the winners. Let me see if I can just find a full list.
Yeah, man, Soul Train Award. People were saying like, man, we need to just pick an award show that we know that's gonna be. But I think that
I still feel like we should make our own though.
Yeah.
Like the People's Choice Awards, we need to have a People's Choice Awards for our culture.
Man.
We definitely need to have a People's Choice Award for our culture. All right, let's see. We just gonna go to a couple of these. So, Best New Artist category. So nominees: Snow Allegra, Leighton Green, Loner, St. John, Giveon, or Giveon. I really don't know how he pronounces it, but and Victoria Monet. And Snow Allegra won that category.
Okay, yeah, she had a big year for sure.
Right.
And what category was that again?
Best New Artist.
Okay, now you know what, I respect that because that's the tone that those type of artists would have never got that kind of look, and I love that because Snow had a huge year, and they probably put her like, you know what I'm saying, in the whole shit. So that's fire right there.
That's what I mean. Let me see. Okay, so the next one here, I'm just gonna do a couple of like the prominent ones. Best R&B Soul Female Artist. In this category, we got her, Beyonce, Brandy, Alicia Keys, Jhené Aiko, and Summer Walker. And they gave it to her.
Okay. I can't be mad at that either.
Me either. It would have been, for me, it would have been between her and Summer Walker. So I can't complain. Let me see. We're gonna see if we can find like a rap category.
Do you know last year they didn't show hers Grammy that she won?
They do that to a lot of artists though. A lot of artists that win, they don't necessarily show it.
That's sad, man. They say she was on her way there headed, and then she got in the car. They was like, "You just won, congratulations." She's like, "Do we still gotta go?" You know what I'm saying? Oh,
can we go start the party early? I'm fine with that. I didn't even want to go to my high school graduation, so like I would have been completely fine with that.
Man, yeah, that's wild. That's wild right there.
All right, we'll do one more. Best R&B Soul Male Artist. Nominated, we have Chris Brown, Charlie Wilson, Anderson .Paak, PJ Morton, The Weeknd, and Usher. They gave it to Chris Brown. Again.
Okay.
Not mad at that. You see what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
We need to kind of make this award a little bit more important. I think we should kind of put a little bit more credence, a little bit more weight into this. You know what I mean? Because this definitely seemed like they got a lot of it right. The performances, they do the performances very well. You know, this is this year, last year, the performances were very well also. So
how did it look with the COVID thing, like, in your opinion? Because I ain't even checked it out. I'm gonna check it out after we stop.
For sure. I mean, they did the best that they could.
Yeah, like, did it look straight though? Like, as far as just,
I think so. The quality was good. More than anything, I'm not necessarily with the COVID thing. I'm not. My standards aren't too high. You know, I do like the whole thing, like the thing that the BET Awards did when they did, like, it was a lot of, I think it was the Hip Hop Awards, a lot of digital stuff, the performances. I think the BET Awards did it like that too. They made it more so like each performance was like a music video. I'm really more so, I like the artists. you know, and the performances more than just the appearance. But I think they did as best as they could. You know what I mean? Again, I just appreciate them. They got it right.
Man, shout outs to the Soul Train Awards for actually putting soul into the awards, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and that's not a racial thing. Cause shout out to Snow Allegra again, cause she really deserved Best New Artist at the Soul Train Awards. I'm glad that that's who won. For real.
Yeah.
For real, right up. And then another thing that's been going on, man. Have you been hearing about these artists that's been getting indicted this past week?
I recently heard about Consequence. He gave himself. Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
Oh hell no!
Consequence.
Nova and G Herbo.
Not Consequence. Obviously, my name is fucked up. Casanova, definitely Casanova, because I saw the statement that his wife had posted.
Man, yeah, what you think about
and
that?
G Herbo, the whole was it racketeering?
On Casanova's, they got him for a bunch of charges, racketeering being one. They got some serious charges for him, and they saying that they orchestrated or conspired to kill a 15-year-old, or something like that.
Fucking crazy. I mean, when it comes to, I don't know, when it comes to artists in legal cases, when they, you know, and that's with every case, I like to let it play out before I make too much of an opinion. You know, like I said, I did read the statement that his wife had put, and I do feel like it says something that he turned himself in. He didn't fight it. He didn't try to run from it.
Well, he was on, I believe it was 48 hours that they gave him to turn himself in when he first came down. Okay. And he was going to do that because when it first broke, it was, he's on the run. But you know how that goes. It's just like, we're just negotiating the capture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. And you say some shit just to make things look a certain way. You try to steer a narrative with using certain words like that. So
they're saying G Herbo is actually getting charged with scamming like a bunch of credit cards. They were using allegedly
him and his manager, I think, like it was something involved
for 10 years or something like that. They've been watching him pay for like different
well, that's definitely what the FBI definitely likes to do. That they let you just dig yourself in a fucking hole. They just keep watching you and let you just dig yourself and dig yourself and dig yourself, and then they come and hit you. That's like what they do. That's definitely what they do. I don't know. This is the hip hop police is a thing, man.
Man, look. This is what they're saying, that he was buying luxury trips and luxury puppies, and was selling them, I guess. So they got him buying so many puppies, and I guess that was a hustle or something. Because I'm trying to figure out. I know
probably like them expensive dogs.
That's $5,000-$10,000 little big bulldogs.
Yeah.
But they say he only charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, with 2 counts of aiding and abetting, aggravated identity theft. Antonio, that's who G Herbo is, was also slapped with several counts, including wire fraud, and was arrested back in September, but it's unclear if Herbo plans to surrender. His attorney provided a no comment when reached by the Chicago Tribune, which first reported the story. And this was yesterday reporting, I believe, since he has turned himself in, but some serious charges in wire fraud.
Yeah, serious, big shit. Big shit. I don't know. I mean, really, we just gotta let this play out because, you know, we do know how the media likes to kind of, like I said, they do like to try to push a certain narrative, and I always like to give it a fair shot. You know what I mean? I don't want to just be moved one way or another by whatever tabloid or whatever I see, whatever video, whatever. You know, I don't know, but.
This one thing that's interesting too about the Casanova thing, right? Because you know Herbo from Chicago,
right?
Now the thing, it's been a lot of racketeering charges coming down out of New York, like you were saying. You know, with those New York hip hop police, you had Bobby Shmurda, then you had Tekashi. Now you have Casanova and his gang. It was like the Gorilla Gang or something, whatever they called themselves, the Untouchable Gorilla Gang or something like that. So if you think about it. You know, is that just the model that artists are taking to come up? So they have no other choice but to because I would have thought people learned from Bobby Shmurda, and then of course you from Tekashi. So
I mean, but even before that, it's not like Bobby Shmurda was the first. You would have think Bobby Shmurda would have learned from the last one. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I don't know. It really, I do feel like people are a product of their environment and what they had to do to survive. And just because somebody's just gets some type of fame and notoriety, don't think that they are just going to be able to lose everything that they were doing before them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before the fame and the money and shit like that. Don't think that these type of activities just cut off just because I'm popping now.
And the sad part too, they said that he already did 8 years in prison. Sheesh. He's a young guy. So, you know what I'm saying? That was always a part of his, you know, thing. Like, he came out of prison, did 8 years, so he didn't want to go back and this and that. So I believe that based off whatever the situation previously, the parole, they're saying that he might ought to do an automatic 10 years or something. But I'm not really a fan of the music. I never really heard it. I heard one song they used to play when I was in Strathmore. I used to play iHeartRadio app. That was the one that played at the Strat. It was iHeart, wasn't it? And then so I used to play like Hot 97 periodically, bouncing back on 5-1 Cali. And they would always play a song he had with like Tory Lanez or like some type of reggae artist. But I've never really heard too much music by Castro, to be honest. So it's just
not necessarily me either, but I do know who he is. You know what I mean? And I would say
Rock Nation brunch. They were sharp in the motherfucker, wasn't they?
Sidebar: the sound system in the Strathmore was the best. It was the best out of that one little Sonos speaker, because that space had the best acoustics in the world, and that motherfucker used to kick.
I'm talking about for real. It was incredible, man. That you could really just paint the whole soundtrack, man. I'll be looking back through. I'm not going to say the name, but
I want that space if it's ever available for something. For something, they can leave a lot of it just like that. You can leave all the little Will Bevan painting, leave all that. You can take your burner signs though. You can definitely take them all.
Man, you missed the place. I you know what I actually thought about before you answer, because you got yours is more complicated. I know you missed the place. Get your thoughts together. Let me say how I feel. I had to realize the other day, like, it started with the hats, and I was thinking, like, dang. And then I thought about, because I was there for like 2 years almost, so really a little over a year and a half, something like that. So it was like I had got comfortable. I associated the time of the year with what I was doing, you know, previously. Like, damn, what I was doing this time last year, in that sense, you know, how I felt. And just looking at it, like, man, we missed key pivotal moments this year that we would have normally in those locations. That was like, man. This would have been the first summer auto show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit like that, like, wow. This is the first North American summer auto show got shut down in Detroit. You know, so it's crazy. I was thinking about that, literally, like, damn, I wonder what that would have been like. Well, how would that would have been impacted the city in a positive way if this corona shit never hit? You know, there was a lot of energy coming into the city prior to this corona shit.
Of course. Just the energy of the city is just going to keep. It was just. I still feel like it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to keep growing. You know what I mean? But I don't know. For me, it's aspects of the job I miss. You know what I mean?
Like what?
Meeting people like you and like everybody else.
Man,
you know what I mean? That was like the greatest part about it. You met so many cool ass people.
Definitely. Being an ambassador, you had to be an energy transfer. So you was going to walk through that door, and you had to transfer that energy into, you know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it too. Like, it was deeper than just them coming in there to, you know, whatever. It was more so like, man, you know, I really enjoyed the aspect of out of town people coming here. We giving them a sense of like what is Detroit like, and people. Yeah. So tell me about Detroit and this and that, because. And I'm glad that I would be the only one around to be like, well, I can give you an untainted version. I honestly feel you should know, you know, in a good way. Like,
yeah. I mean, because you knew who you could do that with. You knew, that's the thing. You know what I mean? We're like energy DJs in the type of way, because you know when a certain type of person walks in, what they want to hear.
Man,
you know.
I would get the what song is this, man? What song?
All the time when we could play our own stuff, that was like the best part of it. Like, yeah. That's what was bringing them into the, especially when I was at the Guardian. If you worked at the Guardian, that's definitely what brought them in. They'd be like, yo.
Everybody listening to me and Moxie worked at, we were ambassadors with a company that was with a Detroit-based company where we were pretty much entertaining out-of-towners. You know, we were just painting an experience for them. You know, we had all kind of different levels of customer aspect for them, you could pretty much say. From tours to showing people stuff to just the one-on-ones that we had with different people that would come in from Detroit, whether it was on business or just fun. And, you know, with Corona and everything, and us not really doing that this year, you know, it did put like a little, you know, I was really looking forward to Kobo this summer. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was ready to ring the speaker.
Hey, better for you, because I hated that shit. I hated that shit. Because it was just, I had to deal with a little bit something different. We won't really go into it, but I definitely had to deal with it.
They liked me at Cobra. It was a lady that would work in security who I believe worked with the company at some point, but she was really nice, and she would always
older white lady with red hair.
Man, she was a wonderful lady. Her energy was amazing.
She's awesome. She worked with the company for a little bit, and she just had the greatest energy. Her name was Christina. She had the greatest energy.
Yeah, but she would always like when I first would get there, I would kind of play. It would take me to warm up. I would really have a set list. Midday is different from the first stuff, because in the beginning you kind of treading lightly because you got to kind of feel, and then in the midst you feel in the moment, and then it's like, wow, you playing stuff that people like, man, I just came here because of the music, man, I'm just looking around, like
pretty much.
So technically I feel like I brought that to the company at certain places where I was at. Like if I wouldn't have did that, if I wouldn't have been playing those songs at certain points, people came.
I mean, but that's the truth. It's definitely the truth. That it was the ambassadors, the people who they saw every day is what made the company.
Exactly.
More than anything, like I said, the people, you guys, and meeting the people who came into the stores, and definitely the creative aspects that I was able to provide. I missed that.
Man,
that's about it.
You were the whole curator for all that. You know what I'm saying? Not even to just put all that weight on you, but you curated a whole aspect to where, it was scientific, man. You know what I'm saying?
I won't take all of it, because of course there was another manager who did a lot of it as well too. But the things that I was able to do, I definitely tried to. I don't know. I just did what I felt looked good. I felt it.
But for my level of it, you know what I'm saying? Because you brought me into it, and for my level, I felt your impact, whether it was just perspective wise or just your 2 cents in certain moments. But like you definitely were somebody who, like, it wouldn't have been what it was without you. I
appreciate that. I appreciate that. As somebody, I haven't even, since I started my new job, when I told them that I was moving on to a new job, I will say I haven't heard from them since then. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But you guys were always what made it worth it.
Yeah, man. Shout outs to all of them, man. Shout outs to Julian, man. Shout outs to Ricky.
I was just talking to him yesterday. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely everybody. Asher, Alex. Yeah. I think Louisa from Stella Good Coffee, she just had a birthday. I think it was today.
I've never had the luxury of actually spending too much time in the coffee aspect of it.
I wish you did. I wish you definitely did, because it's like if you work theater and there was a second person, you could kind of sneak down there.
You know what's sad about it? When y'all first meet, my first day coming to meet up with you guys to talk with you, I think we met up there. So my impression of that was always so damn work related.
That's the interview spot, like that's definitely the interview spot, and that's where all the meetings are. You know what I mean? When they come in, they do their meetings and shit. That's always where they happen. So I do understand that. But the people in the coffee shop were just as cool.
It seemed like it was a very antique vibe. I felt it. Where I liked the sitting area in the Fisher Building. That area was real antique. I like looking at the walls, the marble.
Yeah, that shit is sweet. It's definitely, I don't know. It's a definitely unique experience, I will say. But
you think about Trump and his constant tug of war with trying to. He do got a lot of different states that's shutting down on his lawsuits, but he's not.
Yeah, a lot of states have already had some recounts. I think Georgia had a recount, and that shit was the same.
Yeah,
but I didn't expect anything else. I didn't expect anything else, and I don't know why anyone else is I don't know why people are responding to it the way that they are. What do you expect? He has been such an antagonist all up until now.
Man.
You know what I mean? I don't expect anything else.
Yeah, man. It's definitely deep, man.
December 15th, we'll be able to put everything to rest. We'll see what's gonna happen. You remember that video that I showed you, what they said, but we'll see. We're gonna see.
Now, you asked me, did I watch Fargo? And, I have not. I was going to take it to the lab today, but I didn't get a chance. But I noticed this is the thing and I need to ask you. The way they promoted it on Hulu, it went straight to season 4. Which that it did that. I'm saying, like, do I have to go back to season 1?
So with I watched this show on recommendation of my grandma. My nana be like, she be more up to date on shit.
Please share some of her wisdom, please.
Like, so she told me about this show, just in casual conversation. Each season is different. It's a different storyline for each season. So you don't have to start at number 1 to be able to understand what's happening in season 4. Season 4 is completely different than any of the other seasons.
Okay.
You know, different storyline. There is like a crime-based thing that ties them all together. You know what I mean? It's each like, there's always a story of crime and a story of like a detective or a cop. You know what I mean? Some type of crime-based story. But that's about it.
Was this a good role for Chris Rock in your opinion?
So I came in not really knowing what to expect from Chris Rock because everything I've seen him in has always been comedy based. You know what I mean? Like, this is the man who did Pootie Tang. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sign your pity on a running time. Like, this is Chris Rock. But when I say that, how I know if somebody is doing a good job in this role is if I forget that this is the person playing it. If I forget this is
you talking like he gave you Adam Sandler Cut Jim vibes.
He did very well.
Both of them, they're friends. Did they just step out of the comedy element this past year?
They did completely.
Did they? Are you saying that his is just as good? Because I will watch it tonight. After we get off, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Personally, I think he did a very good job at this role. Like I said, I forgot. I wasn't distracted by his celebrity.
Oh my God, that's deep then. Because I forgot Adam Sandler was Adam Sandler on Uncut Gems. I
wasn't distracted by his celebrity, and I know a person is doing a good ass job at this role if I'm not distracted by this big name. You know what I mean?
On that note, with him and Adam Sandler doing that, because if you're saying what I think you're saying, he just tapped into a new market that they could potentially ride. It was what I'm saying. And one thing that I noticed, not only just being a film consumer, but even making it and being a part of certain films, I feel like it's hard to find good talent that could deliver. Like literally, like I look at it starts off the music, the editing, the acting, and so many things that because I know you make film as well, so I know that your eye is like so if you saying something that deep, you know what I'm saying, like I will watch it on basis to see how good Chris Rock is in the role.
I mean, like I said, I personally felt like he was really good. You know what I mean? He didn't feel his acting didn't feel forced.
Holy shit. That's deep.
Because you can definitely tell. As somebody,
I wouldn't have thought that he was a good actor. I'm gonna be honest with you. So if you
that's the thing. Like I came in and not really knowing what to expect. I'm like, is he gonna be Chris Rock? Like, you know what I mean? Like, was he gonna be that or like?
Right. Damn.
Now, I mean, but and then the thing is too, I didn't expect anything bad. I'll say because of Fargo as a whole. The show is very good.
Yeah, I've always seen like certain marketing of it, like, but I just never watched it. It was
it's got a little weird-ish elements and shit to it. The show is very good.
Like Italian Godfather-ish early days. Good.
This season was really good, and this was kind of like they kind of went into that.
I was curious as to why I went straight to season 4. Like, why are they doing that? Are they assuming that the general public seen the first 3 seasons or something? Or like,
I mean, I feel like so.
But
because I started. You can't. I actually started from season 1 though, and I with over like the last.
How many episodes in the season?
Like 10 or 11, but they're an hour long. But I think I got through it in maybe
you really
3 weeks.
Then.
It's good. It's good. But like I said,
could I just watch season 4? And if
you just start season 4,
I bet.
Yeah.
Because I seen those. I love when there's black people in the story, and
that's an element to it that I really like because Chris Rock, his role was always very classy. He was always his integrity was very important to him in the facet of they expect something from us, so I can't give them that. because we have to be better than what they expect. You know, it was interesting because they started it off showing the different criminal families, starting with the Jews, and then from there it went to, I believe, the Irish, and then from there it went to the Italian.
Not only that, because this one thing, from an outside perspective, people be like, "Oh, that's 50 Cent show," you know what I'm saying? But the people that know Power know that there's a woman boss who's the director, who writes it. 50 Cent was the bag that believed in her. In essence, this is her story.
Well, he's the producer, right? The executive producer?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what EPs do. They cough up the money. That's what they do.
In essence, you know, and he might, even if he, you know, have came in on some acting aspects, maybe producing aspects, or, you know, I'm sure. But what I'm saying is, she's the one who breaks down the episodes at the very end. The way Power has an original sequence. Like, have you ever seen Godfather, for instance? No?
Yeah, for sure. Godfather.
So you remember the sequence of Godfather 2, right? The way they was crossing timelines?
Yeah.
Now, you know, that was an original sequence from the director at that time. Like, movies at that time weren't really doing that. That was a very complex thing that, like, you know what I'm saying, that people didn't know how they were going to respond to something like that.
That's cinematic, yeah.
Yeah, to draw those two at the same time, like the way you do in books, to actually do it visually, you know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying with Power, she had an original way of, it goes by so fast, the adrenaline of the show. It doesn't waste any time. There's nothing on the show that you're ever really watching that doesn't going to lead up. So it's like, it's very fast.
No empty space. I dig that.
No empty space. And it's an original outlook at certain shows. I believe that if whatever she does after Power, look out for her. I hate that. I'm going to get her name right now because I would never.
I do know they're doing a couple spinoffs, aren't they?
Well, in the work at this moment, they're Power Book 2, right?
Right.
That's what they're doing. Like, the main character left the show, and the son took over, and it's like the next thing. I don't know where they're going from this, but what I'm saying is, based off the way that she's directing, she could pick up a story like this. You understand? I would love to bring her a story and see what she could do with it. That's what I'm getting at. Hold on, let me see.
I dig that.
Literally, she's like that incredible. Her name is Courtney Kemp. I knew it was Courtney. I just didn't want to be ghetto and say her first name. It was Courtney Kemp Agbo. But Courtney Kemp Agbo. And she is really the one, and she always doing breakdowns. But like, really, I love like a lot of women in film, like right now, like Lena Waithe, of course.
Yeah, she would definitely be killing it.
We already know about Shonda, you know.
Yeah.
You know, just man. So really, I just got to put on for them. You don't even watch The Shy either, do you? I'm so
no. Listen. The last series of that type of genre, I'll say, that I kind of started getting into was Snowfall. I'm not caught up.
Oh no, Snowfall is not that. Snowfall is a drug dealing show. The Shy is The Shy. The Shy is like, you know, and it might be some drug dealing on the show. But it's not based around drug dealing. No, it's centered around these little kids just trying to go to a public school.
What is that on? So it's kind of like, does it give you the feel of like The Wire a little bit, like season 5 of The Wire?
Exactly that, but it's Chicago, and it's shot by Lena Waithe, and so her direction style is much different.
Yeah, for sure.
But I can tell she was definitely inspired by The Wire, and was like, hey, you know, we did this in Chicago, so that's really what it comes down.
Yeah, we did it in Baltimore. We can do it in Chicago. You can do it in. You can actually. That's interesting because you can take that around. You can keep making series like that around the states.
Exactly, and the thing that was big off the last season's promo of it. It's only like 2-3 seasons. You should definitely get into that. I would actually suggest you get into that first.
What is that on? Showtime?
Showtime, because it's easy to catch up on Showtime. Shout out, because I want to promote Lena Waithe, man. She really is like...
She's dope. She's definitely been killing it. Like I said, and it's interesting because you don't really see too many women in... I mean, unfortunately, in a lot of different creative fields and mediums, you don't see a lot of women representation, female representation.
Right, that's why when you see like the Powers, the Shies, we have to support that.
Yeah. And I will say, when you see them, they tend to be very fucking good.
Man,
because it takes so much just to get to that point.
Man, that's what I'm getting.
It's gotta be quality. It's gotta be.
The hype is real. You know how people just don't like to choose to get into the hype anymore. I didn't watch Power from the beginning, but the minute I caught up, and I was waiting on the seasons like everybody else.
Right.
Same way you'd do with the shot. I didn't watch Orange Is the New Black. That was another woman director.
I did catch that one. I did finish that.
That's another one. Like that was one of the greatest shows of all time. Another women staff. You gotta appreciate, like, it's a perspective. I always say this: women are the conscience, men are like ego. The world is fucked up, ego driven. We need that perspective. We're seeing what's going on. I can't even tell you my favorite last few things are all like, I'm ready. I don't know. I can't explain. I'm a feminist though, so that's my thing. So you gotta excuse me. So I'm just
much obliged. It's man. You don't often feel you know, as a woman, you don't really often see too many men who I'll take that back. I've been blessed enough to have my best friend. He's definitely a feminist, and he's definitely like, you can do that shit. You know what I mean? So
I know that.
I've had good people around me who've been rooting for me. Small circles.
literally, just look at the jungle. Take it, but not even to get philosophical. I'll make this real quick, but take it to the jungle, man. You know, the male lion get his little hype because he got that mane and shit, right?
Yeah.
Pay attention, but his role is minuscule to the lioness's role, who not only does the same thing, fend off predator and find prey, but they raising all those cubs and defending them. So the job is so much greater. Not only that, you know what I'm saying, if we were both to get shot in the arm, your body is designed to fight it off better than mine. It's the physical proof is there. So what I'm saying is, men might have taken over this shit at a certain time and overpowered their shit, but conscience is coming back and you can't fight it. And it's all in the mind. It's not this, you know.
No, not at all.
I hate to say this as a man, but women are smarter than men.
It's all about a balance.
Would you say that? I would say women are smarter than men. Let's say
I wouldn't even necessarily know if I would be able to say it because
you gotta say it. Don't feel biased.
I mean,
women are smarter than men. Let's be honest.
I feel like I'm smarter than a lot of people.
Listen, behind, I don't feel away. I'm a man and I don't feel away.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't make me feel bad. That's like a white person being like feeling a certain way off a black person being mad. Like, nah, bro.
But that's what I mean. I think it's really a matter of everybody has their role, everybody has their job, you know what I mean? And whether that be the woman is the strategic mind behind it, she's a strategist, you know, and the man
what does that mean though?
The muscle to listen, I'm trying to be nice.
What, you tried to politicize it?
I'm trying to be nice.
No, you just said it. Come on.
But you know.
Keep it real.
I don't know.
And in the same regard, when we're watching, we use Joe.
You need the muscle.
Joe
need the muscle to get it done.
Joe Biden used a woman to get elected.
Yeah.
And we knew that she should have been the one to have that job. So, you know, we might can appreciate that he was the first to make history with that. But what I'm getting at is that, like, it benefited him more so than I feel like it did the women general population. Cause, like, you get what I'm saying, or maybe I don't know, maybe that's man. I might be biased to say that, but I think,
but it could have been.
He's the retarded. I'm ready for him to get out of there within a year. I think that we should be able to find.
That's what I've been definitely hearing.
Step down in a year. I'm not talking about a term. Like, no, I won't. You see what I'm saying? And then after that, then Nancy. Like, I'm there with it. I wanted Kamala and Nancy on the ticket, like, before.
But I don't know. I just feel like these are big strides, but these are small strides because you can only do so much. You know, you can't really just shock. It had to be first VP, then president. You know what I mean? There's steps to it. I don't feel like, unfortunately, there are less men who think like you.
Man, I gotta call
than the other.
I gotta call.
You know what I mean? You're very progressive. You know what I mean? You're very open, and you're telling
me what it is. Like, it gotta be like, damn, be progressive.
Yeah, but I don't even really like that term. But
I know,
you're open-minded and you're very open to change, and that's a good thing.
Like Bernie or something. When people call me progressive, like, "Oh, you wild!" Like let's end all of like I don't.
It's not even that because
it's like I'm realist. If anything,
yeah,
we're in a fucked up world, and
there has to be a big shift in order for things to change. It won't matter as much coming from me. So I'm going to let you talk. That's the thing.
Who got the God-given gift of their life? That's what could be the podcast topic. You know what I'm saying? It could be women are smarter than men? Question mark. Are women smarter than men?
They're gonna be clicking like, what the fuck is this talking about? Yeah, but like I say, I'm not saying too much because unfortunately it won't be.
You can't come on by and stand on it, man.
But that's the thing. Like this is as a woman, I know that if I say all of these things, I'm gonna just come off as some crazy woman who trying to take over the world, some crazy lesbian, you just angry and black and blah 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 blah. But
gonna do it for you. Period. Because
and that's what it has to be. It has to be a balance, just like with everything else. It has to be. It has to be both parties. Right. We can actually tie this into the whole. We can definitely even tie this into Obama's comments on defunding the police, because he made the comment that, I'm paraphrasing, but that the terminologies that we're using is the big reason why there's such a pull when it comes to this cause, is because the term defunding the police sounds so, it is. It's too scary.
But I was like, this man.
We know you. Get rid of him.
Look, I fell back when I realized that they were scared of defund. Shut up.
That's what I mean. These terms, that's the problem. You have to rephrase the terminology. Unfortunately, the cause doesn't change. The methodology doesn't change. You just changing the title. I don't have a problem with that. Allocate funds, like relocate funds, whatever. But defund makes people.
Are you familiar? I actually one time with another podcast were familiar with like a lot of different prominent women public officials across the country, right?
No.
And you was like, you're not too familiar, and I was like, my favorite, like right off of it, I'm so to the T, I could probably name you Elisa. I try to at least name you Lisa, representative or a senator in every state. I think if I got tested to do that, I think I could hit it on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so what I'm getting at is when you heard Obama give AOC a shout out like that.
Yeah.
After a year, going on her second year, and as a public official, when 3 years ago she was bartending part time.
That's crazy though. 3 years ago, though, right?
Think about that.
How much can change?
Think about that. She's 27, 28. And not only that, it's not even about, she wasn't necessarily what they like to call well-traveled. They like to say that, right? Or they like to, or super educated people coming out of, I mean, she was educated, but what I'm getting out is like,
to their standards.
Yeah, and she was able to take down the district like New York. You get me? Like, whoa, she shook up some shit.
But it's just like, this is a thing that, I don't know, you would think that you want people who are relatable, who understand, who seem like they're everyday, who seem like they've gone through the same things that you've gone through.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? This is why politics is in the state that it is now, because so many people feel like politicians are not relatable. They just have their own interest in mind. You know what I mean? Although Biden won, a lot of the from what I heard, things that I've heard, a lot of his pushback was how generated a lot of his responses felt. Turn to the camera, look, Americans, we need to, you know what I mean? Like, it was
right,
very
right.
You know,
this
don't want that anymore.
All across the countries, literally, the best politicians are women. It's been like that for years now.
We're good communicators.
It's clear as fucking day. Look, when I sit there, I'm boring. I would watch a house committee grill somebody, right? Like, ooh, they about to grill somebody. I'm watching the countdown. This is how you know how lame I am. It might be like the Foreign Relations Committee is grilling some CEO, right? And I'm like, ooh, so 7 minutes. I'm looking at the shit countdown, and then I sit there and I tell myself all the time, like, you know, who's gonna come out with good points, who's gonna swing the hardest. And it seemed like most of the men that come up to bat, even when they got good points that they make, right? It's always a certain part of the argument that's like, wow, they could never actually just deliver. I'm not even lying to you. When you going next to people like AOC, like Elizabeth Warren, like Kamala, who could be so transparent, so clear, like you said, better communicators. It is not even. It's like saying that black athletes are better than white athletes. That's where I'm getting. That's where I'm getting at. And I think we need to start promoting that. If we don't, you know, the world is fucked.
I mean, I will say I kind of feel like it comes from a couple different things. Like I said, the ability to communicate on a level that not only exemplifies strength, but warmth at the same time.
Yeah, you know,
it's a matter of having that strength and those barriers and that leadership, but it's also the nurturing side, the warm side, the caring side that we do. I mean, that's just kind of like, you know what I mean? Motherhood is a balance of those two things. I do feel like parenting is, but, you know, men
definitely. The father has historically done pawn work.
Yeah. I mean, like, so I would say, like, I was blessed enough to be able to grow up in a 2-parent household. My father, he was my stepfather, but he raised me, so that was my dad. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it was. My dad went to work. He brought the paycheck home to my mom.
So you were able to see. I think that America looked at that dynamic as if it was cool to go out there and do that part. When no, it was actually cool to manage the household and raise the family.
Yeah.
That was cool.
She definitely was a stay-at-home mom. You know what I mean? And
that's what was cool, though. Think about it. Like
there is a benefit to it, and I feel like nowadays,
right now, you don't have that now. Right now, if you don't have that now,
and I feel like, but this is a double-edged sword, because right now we're in a state where there are a lot of people are forced to stay home.
They are getting divorced at a high rate,
and that's unfortunate.
Abuse is at a high rate.
Right, that's so unfortunate.
They don't know the people they're with.
Right, because they didn't have this time with them. They didn't have this time with them. You know what I mean? Like I said, my mom, she was able to stay home and take care of me and help me to kind of give me the space to grow and develop as a person. And you know what I mean? He was there to provide that strength and that extra bit of comfort that you get from having a fucking bulldog as a father. You know what I mean?
That's what his historically is been. And
yeah, but I think a lot of people stay away from that right now. It's too traditional for them.
Yeah, I think that the bulldog aspect might have toned down, and women have decided to be like, yo, we have historically maintained the house and we could do the work. Because it ain't like
but it don't even have to be like the woman stay at home. The woman can go work.
But the work wasn't the hard part. So women realized that, like, we can maintain the household and go to work.
No.
Okay, so all these years y'all been going to work making excuses like, oh, that was the big ass shit, and women are going to work and maintain the household. Now what?
I think more than anything, it's just the lack of not having the help.
Right.
I don't really feel like it should be a matter of the dude just go to work and the woman has to cook, clean, raise it. Like that's not cool.
I don't believe in gender roles at all. I don't believe
that's what I mean. It don't have to necessarily be.
I could have a rich wife.
Yeah, and you stay home and but I think there's just a definite benefit. But again, that's what I mean though. You're a lot different than a lot of men.
I'm trying to tell you, I would be like.
That's a lot different than a lot of men.
I think
a lot of men would not like that shit. You know what I mean?
What?
That would bother. Yo, that would bother a lot of dudes. They would feel less than a man.
Are you kidding? If my wife was a doctor and the minute she was just only home to have like a baby, and she couldn't wait to go back to work. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know I'm on nursery mode.
And that's what I mean. That type of mentality is important because a lot of women don't get to have those careers and they don't get to have those fulfilling lives because they had to give something up.
Yeah, fuck that.
You know what I mean? Like that's
I don't, man. I've been working since I was 14. I can figure out how to get paid from the house, first of all. But
that's what I mean. Because I'm just thinking, like, you could be taking care when a baby go take a nap, you go down, you record a track, record a pod,
do so much. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole new day. You know, I just don't believe in the gender roles, man. Like I don't believe in you know.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. Like I said, it's not. I feel like more than anything, it's just a matter of partnership. Whether the dude stay at home or the chick stay at home, whatever. But there is a definite benefit to having a parent who is at home.
You still don't know how to handle having a chick that make more than them. I know niggas.
That's what I mean. It's like that's the ego thing you was just talking about.
Don't they use in there on some like?
I don't do shit but just stay on my ass and play video games all goddamn day.
I gotta call a spade a spade. You know, I call toxic shit out. I tell you that all the time. Like I'm the one to fuck up the room with a room full of niggas. That I'll be the one to be like
record scratch.
Yeah, but it is cool though, because it's like the minute I hear something that's weird to me, like if they putting women down or something, like I'll be making a valid point, like, well, that sounds kind of gay. If you go be real, you want to put women down behind their backs on some like, and I'm not saying, you know, that I'm not saying anything, you know.
I get definitely
I'm just challenging. I'm just challenging. The testosterone aspect over. I'm challenging that because I just realized so much. It's weird. People just don't know how to express themselves, and like this one thing too. They feel like me saying that I'm a.
That's a lot of it. Not knowing how to express yourself, and I feel like a lot of that. And this is just coming from somebody who I observe and I look and I'm often trying to figure out why people are the way they are. And I feel like when it comes to men, it's never been okay for you to express yourself. It's been looked at a certain way for some reason. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to have feelings or whatever type of reasons, or the feelings you have are supposed to be so tough. And,
so over time, what that did was that put you just see certain sprouts of just people that don't know who they are, mostly men.
That's deep. That's definitely deep. Yeah, because I don't know. I do definitely feel like a lot of men haven't been able to be who they are. They've never had that luxury. They've always had to kind of, and it also definitely depends on where you grow up. But I know a lot of dudes in the inner city, you know, if you were different, I don't even necessarily say dudes, because I do know as a black woman growing up in the inner city, I liked a lot of things that weren't necessarily black, quote unquote, you know, from anime to some of the type of music that I like. So I will say a lot of times black people tend to get typecasted a certain way. Sometimes that's from the people surrounding us, but a lot of times it's from the people outside of our group, but especially men, because you have to combat with not only feeling like you're supposed to be a certain way, walk a certain way, talk a certain way, but you're supposed to take on a certain type of emotional fabric. You're supposed to take on a lot more.
Or be like, you know what I get a lot? Just my entire life, what I realized that was a problem was that people would always tell me my entire life was, you were too sensitive. Like, no, I just felt like, you know what I'm saying? And that my whole thing, like just you too, and like, just being whatever it was, right? Like I could have been young watching the news with my parents, right? And I'm just fucked up off some shit I heard. Like not on some like, damn, did you hear they just said that they just shot the kids, the grandma? I'm kind of shook. And people were able to shake that shit off. I don't shake it off like everybody shake that shit off.
Let me tell you something, yo. I think this might be the thing that really ties us together. Because when I feel on a level, I don't know, like literally, like I'm going through that shit with you in a certain sense. Like, this is when I say that I'm very mindful about what I consume, is because I can't see all these type of things all the damn time. I can't see these murders all the time because I really feel it on a level where I'll see some shit and I'll start crying. Like I'll just start. It's an empath. It's really, that's what it's called. It's called being an empath, and I think that's why music kind of resonates with us on a deeper level.
That's why too. Like I got a little cousin who had a hard time coming out like with his sexuality, right? And me and him, I'm actually working with it, trying to get him to do a podcast because he's really insightful, right? And I want to talk about with him is that like heterosexual black men don't protect black homosexual men. Yeah, but
they don't respect.
But he really
gay women.
Oh, just,
you know what I mean? Because you don't know how many times I've even just
please shut.
Like I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Thank you, but I don't date men. Oh shit, I like girls too. We can all get together and whoop 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 whoop. It's like, that's sir, really, can you leave me? That's
really offensive.
That's what I mean. Like, it's not a matter. There's no.
It's like a. You know what I'm saying? And they don't realize that, you know.
So then you get to the point where it's like, all right, I'm not even gonna say I'm gay. I'm just gonna say I'm in a relationship or something like that. Shit, can you have a friend?
Yeah. Look, and this one thing.
Can I be your friend? Like,
I gotta say this too, right? Because like when I was like 15, 16, I got super deep into the religion aspect. You know what I'm saying? I told you I became an atheist when I was like 15, right? I've since grown into a spiritual agnostic, you know? But like that was a point in time where everybody, that's a judgment.
And you know this my wheelhouse. Like this is my jam right here.
So that was really like a aspect of deeper shit, you know what I'm saying? I remember motherfuckers couldn't understand that shit. It was really like,
especially being black, you don't really you know
what I'm saying? And that's what
black people tend to pride themselves in being spiritual in some facets. So I know you being a black
talking about this and like
what? But that's the problem, Chris. That's the problem, because that type of mentality, it's why the fuck wouldn't I believe? You ain't giving me no answers. You're not giving me no type of comfort. You're just judging me. You're just shunning me, but you're not saying anything that makes any type of sense. So why wouldn't I turn away from this? That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But when I hear stories like that, I'll always just say, that's not God's fault. That's man's fault. That's that individual's fault. You know what I mean? God ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing too. Like, not even like I said, I believe in God or a higher power. Like
a creator of some sort.
I don't never want to get lost in translation, right? So I believe in that. I know that we are. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's we are in His image or we're in someone else's image, or whether it's like different guys, whatever. I don't doubt anything that could be, and that's the point why I say I'm like a spiritual agnostic, because anything could be whatever it is, and
that's pretty much what agnostic means. It's just like I'm open to, I don't know. More than anything, it's question mark.
So it's not as so much, you know, I'm just I disbelieve or I don't know about the shit. You know what I'm saying? So I just stand at a point where like I can't say I believe in anything, right? Just to be honest, I was just looking up.
You don't believe in anything, but you kind of believe in everything at the same time.
You get me?
Yeah.
So it's like and that's the point, you know. What you think?
I mean, like I said, I completely understand, and just when I say you're a very open person, because you don't limit yourself to a certain. I don't know. You don't limit yourself to a certain way of thinking. You even if you have a certain idea, you have a certain set of beliefs, you leave yourself open to other things. You know what I mean? And that's awesome, because I definitely feel like when it comes to a lot of people who say they're just atheists, you know, a lot of it I do feel like it comes from a bad experience that they had with somebody who said that they were Christian or whatever type of religion. And
you know what did it for me? Exactly what it was, like the breaking point. Like I said, it was when I found out the story of like Horus and Krishna and all them.
Are you talking about how they allegedly kind of coincide with Jesus?
Well, so right. And my first impression of it was like, this story is just being re-rocked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like that's not.
I
want to share some. I want to share.
I didn't think it was fake. I just thought we got lost in translation.
And it is a matter of that, because that's just kind of how human beings work. You know what I mean? But
so
when you boil it down and you check, and I'm not the most. I can't give you all of the details, but I can point you to who to go to get those details. Like I can share some videos and shit with you. But when you boil it down to the most historically accurate, the most, and this is by not just common everyday religious folk or whatever. This is like actual historians background checking, and you know what I mean. When you boil it down, the most concrete truth of all of those does come from the story of Jesus Christ. You know, when you boil those down and you do the most background checks, you can kind of find, and all of those other ones in Horus, I think it's Osiris, there's one. There's a lot of different ones.
Yeah, they, you know, it's, and the other thing too, it will always be objective too.
Of course.
Yes, it's a reason the stories are still here. I just don't ever want to get lost in translation. So people say God, I might say higher power, this and that, but it's, you know what I'm saying, it's not just.
But I mean, I told you what my level of beliefs. I guess you can kind of. It's a lot deeper than what a lot of traditional Christians believe, and I only use the term Christian because what I believe is definitely based around the person of Jesus Christ. But like, if you get into like the weird shit, like I definitely believe there is one creator of our universe who is God, but I believe like there's other spiritual beings who are lower gods. So, and those lower gods are the contributors of all of these other little mythological things that we see.
And that is exactly what I agree with. And the thing is, I feel like I take a little bit from every religion. I don't dispute anything, whatever. I just see the business aspect of every religion.
Yeah, but that's a problem.
That's what makes me feel uncomfortable.
Religion is not really the
yeah, it's not spirituality. It's separate to me.
Yeah.
So, and that's the point. People know not to get to it. And on that same like regard too, you know, I think that's what's next. That's why I stand beside like so many oppressed people, like so many different groups that's oppressed or might be oppressed, because I feel like my particular group I still have to be quiet to a degree, more so like I'm seeing like, and I'm seeing the liberation of everything still, of everything that's happening at a corporate level. I'm seeing it, but what's not cracking is the religious stranglehold on this shit.
And that's never going to happen because it's a pivotal, the religious aspect of it is a pivotal part of the overall control factor.
And that's what's scary for somebody who just feel like I'm agnostic, you know?
Yeah,
you
but
know,
this
so
is what I want to say to you as somebody who is agnostic, and this is not leading and this is really anybody. You know what I mean? Although we may not know, we can be. There is a truth that's more plausible than any other truths, any other things, any of the theories.
Yeah.
You know, there are things that are more plausible, of course, with our limited sense of knowledge, our limited space to be able to understand all of the wild shit that's going on in just our world, not let alone all of the other dimension, whatever. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother conversation, but there is a truth that is more plausible than all other truths.
Can I ask you something that's deep?
Yeah.
This is it, because you know I'm big on controversy, but I believe that a gay president has a better shot of being president than an atheist president. Today's society.
Oh, that's
because Mitt Romney, for crying out loud, couldn't even get his love for being a Mormon, and people know that's what it was.
That's interesting because I feel like
they know that's what it was, though. and it's not. They know that's what it was. That's the reason why I still feel like, yeah, I wouldn't go into politics. I love politics. It's a certain factor of, I know that because I'm not tied to the traditional religious base to go get to churches, community, like that part is such a pivotal role in every politician's game that they all use it, whatever they feel personally. And me being the type of person I am, I feel like even me just being agnostic, I'm not trying to make a group of agnostics for people to be like, yeah, I'm not trying to.
Because that's too much.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do that. But so I know that
it's about your own journey. It's not about
be obsoleted on the religion. I would have to be a part of the religion in order to go politics. Like as far as like they would have to set me up with a church and do it, and that right.
I'm not necessarily because I don't really see Biden associating himself.
Biden, he is still like a Roman Catholic.
But this is the thing, though, like because
he is a Roman Catholic.
It really kind of boils down to how many. I think America was built on being a Christian nation, whatever that means. But you have to. How much of that really does still stand? Because if it's a lot more traditionalist, they're not. I feel like they ain't letting that gay shit fly, bro. They're not letting that gay shit fly. I feel like they would rather.
And I know that's interesting. I know that was a controversial thing, but look. When I'm really looking at it, the standalone is right now. I feel like the gays and the immigrants are going through an oppression similar to the blacks. Not to ever just compare. I'm not trying to compare, so I don't want to be too controversial. I'm not trying to compare. What I'm saying is, in this period in time, we are addressing at this point in time, we are facing homophobia at this time in society.
For sure.
Directly head on. And I believe that as a society, once we get past that, in order for us to move on, to get to a religious freedom, we have to get past that. Because if people can't get past somebody's preference or what they want to attract, they can't get past the fact that their kid might be an atheist and they get obsoleted the same way.
But that's the problem. When you have these type of... We have to understand that people, this is not, I don't know, we're not just coming out in some type of
comparison or nothing. That it's just
people are different, and we have to understand that everybody is not going to fit into these categories, but you have to understand how to speak to them and talk to them and deal with them in a way that doesn't, especially, and I'm speaking from someone who's quote unquote religious.
Right.
But I feel like these behavior and these characteristics it's not something that a religious person would do, but you have to speak to them and deal with them with the love that you claim to follow. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't agree with what it is that they're doing, you can't.
Yeah. This is the thing, right? I used to take my grandmother who had dementia. I remember taking her to church because that was such a big thing to her in her life, that she was always, it could be Tuesday, Wednesday, and she like, let's go to church. She's thinking it's Sunday and shit, right? So I remember on a few occasions, not as much as I should have or anything, but I have taken her to church on Sundays, just knowing that she wouldn't remember this, but just feeling like it was something that I had to do. And like I said, I'm not religious. So I asked this question to a lot of religious people, like, do you believe somebody with no religious affiliation can live a fortunate, prosperous life? And when I ask a person one-on-one, of course, they like, of course, because most people on the ground level are liberal progressive. But the higher you get, that's closed off. That's really a no.
Yeah.
That's really a no. I'm trying to tell you, that's really a no. For the same reason that the Catholic Church changed its stance on LGBT, the way they changed their stance on NAS or astrology and aliens, they stand. They have not taken the stance that this could be, and it's like we still got people who are left in like a certain kind of shadow of,
for sure.
I've had that be the issue in some relationship, to where like I'm never trying to put shit on. I went to church with certain chicks, but I'm not going to be in church. I remember certain chicks feeling like, yeah, this is that, but that I need a God-fearing man. And I was like, what the fuck is that? But
yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, it's deep. I swear to God, and it's interesting.
Interestingly enough, I think that
trauma to me.
Oftentimes, you don't even really know what you mean when you say a God-fearing man. You just know that that's something that you're supposed to look for. God-fearing person, a God-fearing person. Man. You know what I mean? Because like I said, unfortunately, more times than not, a lot of these subsects, these groups, they don't follow the person that they say they follow. You know what I mean?
And that's the truth. You know?
That's really what it boils down to, and you can tell. That's why I don't know. That's why our religion is a religion. It's not what you claim to follow this man, but this man didn't believe in religions.
Yeah, and not only that, Jesus wasn't a Christian. So, you know, we got to at least respect people for being they different. He was, you know what I'm saying, they particular shit that they were.
But like, you have to the thing about because of the person of who he was.
Right.
You know, that's what makes the weight of Christianity so heavy. But again, that's not his fault that people fuck it up. They fucking up his name.
Jewish people are still able to coexist with Christianity.
Yeah. But I think the difference between
but that's the reason that they still like when I was saying it earlier at a corporate level of like they shut niggas like me out and everything.
For sure.
Even though we know that we got high level Catholic people who, you know, regardless of whatever,
run the world.
But they, you know, their preferences are their preferences, right? But you mean to tell me that they could look down on someone like me for feeling like, you know, I could still be a good person. You know, they rather do things and not admit it. Just admit it.
Precisely, or just hide behind. I have more problems with that. I've always had more problems.
They just now admitting
with people who do things, who do terrible things, who do things that are.
No, I'm not just saying terrible things because I wasn't saying they would do terrible things. I'm talking about before.
No, I mean, and this is just necessarily what
the Catholic Church.
My issue is
made it seem like if you were gay, you were going to hell.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel
2020. Think about that. Before 2020. So
I feel like a lot of people still believe. I feel like even though you may have to say something like that just because it's a better political move, doesn't necessarily mean that you don't still feel that way. But you know, I just my issue has always been I can't stand when people do bad things, terrible things, whatever things that are against the nature of God in the name of God.
Right.
It's like you're contradicting yourself. You're using this as a guise. You're taking from people. You're manipulating people. But you're using God to do it. Like it's just such a slap in the face.
Man, it's interesting. Like I do believe in like I said, like the power or the effect in it. I do believe that it's a luxury to not necessarily need that. So I don't expect everybody to be like that. So once again, I could sit up there.
Elaborate on that.
I feel like first of all, a lot of people are oppressed. Not saying religion. I'm not just necessarily trying to link religion to oppression or anything. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to shit on anything somebody want to believe in. That's the point of my whole shit. Whatever I choose to believe in for me, that gets me through the day. If I choose to believe that this is or this ain't today, that shouldn't determine shit. It's the same type of freedoms that we're trying to argue, but people they're not categorizing that yet. And that right there is what's, I think that's what's in 20 years, that's what we're getting. So what I was getting at, like, if a person feel like they don't necessarily need God, that's a luxury to feel like that. Because I know certain people that feel like they need that shit. So I'm not going to ever try to debate a motherfucker who feel like they need that shit. That's not the point of what I believe in. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to convince somebody. I'm not trying to lure somebody away like the mother religions be like, no, you be Muslim, no, you be Christianity. I got the truth. I'm not coming with the truth. Nothing. I don't have a group to be a part of. I'm just letting you know that I just feel like, yo, you know, if I don't feel a part of any one of those groups,
you feel like there's freedom in not being tied down and having that responsibility.
Yeah. So I don't expect it, because I go through hell off that. Like, regardless of how people feel, despite it, that has changed. I had to really think, because I've been watching Dr. Ramani on YouTube. It's like my therapy, because I can't afford to have that kind of therapist. You know, like Will Smith.
Man, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, but I was just
mental health like it's something that's super accessible to everybody. But go ahead.
Yeah, you know. But so I watch a lot of shit with her shit, and one thing I was peeping at, like, you know, the world so driven by narcissistic shit, you know, capacity, like, and I tie a lot of the driven and shit with like these super narcissistic religious leaders that run the world, and these high Jewish but narcissistic people that run the world. And I'm not putting narcissistic with religion. That's not what I'm trying to do. But what I'm getting at is just the corporate stranglehold. The same way we see with white people and doing black people is like a certain kind of oppression, to be like, if you're not a part of a certain group, you worse than. All right, so worse than not going to hell. You worse than that, because if you see what I'm saying, it's like a.
So what do you feel like we need more of in the world?
More TV shows that they interject religious motherfuckers into. But
like characteristic wise, like you said, you feel like there are a lot of these narcissistic big bold personalities. What is it that you feel? What type of people do you feel like we need more of it?
Like Bill Maher, like a Bill Maher, like a. And I don't even feel all the way like Bill Maher. I used to, but I see the bullshit in his shit. But what I'm saying is, he still got the right to do that. He found a corporation that attached to him, though. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying it's not people who out there like this. What I'm getting at is, we're not a group of people. We're not a organization of people. So we don't have a way of actually like organizing. We're not skin tone bound. We're not. It's just me being like, yo, I don't know what to believe.
No, and I do understand that, but like my
so look, that really has hindered a lot of super love for me. I thought of
for me, because like I said, I completely kind of, what I believe in is not in, I can't put it in this box. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I do feel like what we have as human beings, we have certain things that are observable to all of us. You know, whether that be in nature, whether that be in history, whether it's just, we have certain things that are observable to all of us. And those things, we all have logic, we all have reasoning. And these things point to a certain thing.
Right.
They point a certain way. Now, whether you choose to affiliate that certain direction to this thing or that thing, that's up to you.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it's not landing on this one thing.
I feel you. No, I feel you. And just the thing too, though, like people just don't know how to they don't know how to associate that. And
I feel like we box ourselves off a lot, because like I said, I told you, like, you know, I don't believe it's just a matter of there's a creator who is Almighty, the one creator.
Look, I believe in everything. I just want you to know that. Like, that shit you
said, a lot of it, like,
no. The thing about it is, I believe in everything, but if some science shit came, I don't know what to believe, but I do know the shit. So what I'm telling you, I do believe it could have been all the stories were real, and that's what's making the internal universe so incredible. Listen, I don't dispute anything, but what I'm telling you is that I'm sitting back and I'm watching everything objectively. Why do I have to make a choice and tell motherfucker what I gotta tell motherfucker what I about to believe? Why can't
you don't? That's the thing, though. Like, you really don't. It's not even necessarily about you going about and saying, hey, this is how you should be. This is It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of your actions and how you interact with people that is going to show who you are and what you believe in truly. And then from then, those opportunities to kind of just say, hey, you know what I mean? This is the truth that I believe. It's for me, my belief system is not necessarily based on, it's not based on what I do. It's based on what I feel the reality of this world is, the reality of this existence, why we are the way we are as human beings. Like I told you, I'm very big on understanding why we are the way we are, the deeper root and the deeper motivations that we have as people. You know,
I do believe this is a Jesus essential realm, just because we're still in the age of Pisces, for crying out loud. So like that is a scientific religious argument that I suggest religious people use when they fighting off atheists. Like, we're in the age of Pisces, aren't we? The two fish, the Jesus and the two fish, and so what I'm saying is, it's going back counterclockwise, but that's scientific, and
it's interesting
to the ages and the aeons in the Bible. So I can't dispute
that. My favorite part, the part that, and this is the part that I think I've dove into a lot less, but I'm knowledgeable about some of the shit. And again, I can't bring you up full examples, but I can point you to the people who can, like the prophecies and shit. The prophecies and shit in the Bible is this shit that if you really kind of like get into, that shit gets crazy.
You know, before the age of Pisces, we were in it was Moses, right, coming down. It was his age, right, and before Moses, remember the biblical aspect, right? Moses came down from the mountain with the tablets, right? Mm-hmm. Seeing that they was worshiping a false that was
golden calf. He came back and was like, "Yo, I just left."
That was Taurus. That was Taurus the bull. And
calf, yeah.
And then he represented the age of Aries. That's why Aries still blow the ram horn to this day. And now it's going counterclockwise in like the normal zodiac. So what I'm telling you is, I use that to kill atheists. And that's how I'm telling you, a grown ass atheist is an agnostic like myself.
I think for me, what I think about what it boils down to, I think
that is some wild.
I think the difference between you, agnostics, the main difference between, this is a big statement for me. I feel like the main difference between an agnostic and an atheist is, I feel like atheists deny the existence of God.
They too rebellious.
That's exactly what it is, because they hate God.
Believing ass motherfuckers.
They hate God. What it boils down to.
No, I don't. Hold on.
I will say, listen.
Oh my God!
Because listen,
you can't say that.
Listen, and I will say, this a lot of my.
Swear to God, I didn't hate God. Listen,
a lot of this is coming from the people who I see as leading atheist speakers.
No, and that's the problem. They capitalize off everything. I don't believe
it's Christopher Hitchin. You know what I mean? When you hear a lot of the rhetoric behind
it's
more so critiques of what I don't like, what they don't like about religion.
Don't box us in like that, because I still have.
But you just said that you're not. You just said that you're agnostic.
I still have to argue for those outspoken rebellious motherfuckers, because they still have a right to feel the way they feel.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't say that, but I'm just saying.
And that's the point of where I'm getting at. So it's like a motherfucker who feel like, just like, you just gotta, I was once 15, 16 sitting up there arguing with a pastor. Like, I took a video camera, me and my little cousin, and we were interviewing the Mormons, the pastors. I interviewed medical students at 15, 16, asking them like, so are you religious? You're a doctor, or going to be a doctor. Do you believe that God is assisting you during that heart surgery? Because I think that those are big questions I would want to know. I would want to know if my doctor was religious, because I just want to know if you think you could just do it, or I want to know you think God moving your hands. I'm just curious to know that. And it's just so many levels. I was rebellious like that at young. So where I'm getting at, I was once that try to because there was no, in essence, there was nothing, no lane for that. What I'm getting at is, I have since grown to a point in where life has showed me that it's more than what meets the eye.
Fair enough.
That's what happens. And even in that regard of when I became atheist, it was never a hate God. It was more so a fear of, what if God isn't real? So it was never a feeling of hate God. It was, I got confused. I confused religion with spirituality. And so you can't say that that's a hate God thing. I never discredited it. It was just a run away from it in fear that it may not have been real because I found certain cracks in religion. So I just put it all
equated both of them together.
Because I was so young. I didn't have a choice. I was 15, 16. You see what I'm saying? It was like there was nobody else that could teach me better. Everybody else trying to show you, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, you could have a mentor. I have religious mentors.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, it's not even a matter of this or that. I think a lot of the problems that we have, I think a lot of the problem that religion has is that it's just too boxed off. They box God off.
Yeah, and that's what's scary. Like you just said it too, right? Like, and I want you to know that I know that you know the world, you know, the way they do people and outsiders. The atheist people really don't hate God.
I won't say
I'm not gonna say all of them.
Okay, because that's my thing.
I'm saying
and a lot of the representation that I've seen.
Narcissists are narcissists. So any narcissist in any one of these groups are going to try to lead the people and try to tell people what to do. So I can't. It might be an agnostic organization of the world that meet up on Thursday nights. Who knows?
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I don't believe. I'm just saying that I just dib and dab with the certain things I believe. Like I say, I was fortunate to grow up in a Christianity household. My mother,
because I give you a little type of some experience with, you know,
my father's family have my uncle's middle name Sharif. We got a Muhammad, Uncle Muhammad, and so you know they got the Muslim aspect to it. So I was able to see the duality. I went to go see Farrakhan when I was little.
Wow, it's pretty deep.
But yet I still was at church on Sundays with my grandma. So that's why I was inclined to do that to her when she was older, you know what I'm saying? So the duality of just going through that young made it easy for me to be like, I could just understand another alternative belief system.
Because you were, I definitely understand that.
It's not really
you were introduced to two. Yeah. To say. And I will say for you, because like I said, I do see there is a big subsect that I see, and it's more so the people who are willing to go out and argue this point. A lot of it, from what I've seen, comes from a level of I won't even say hate God. You hate what you think God is, and that image of what you see, what you think God is, come from man's representation.
Yeah, and those are the ugly representations. You know, those same people that make you feel like the people that atheists hate God are the same way that people believe that like religious people judge motherfuckers.
Yeah, and that's exactly. But that's the whole thing. It's the same type of person. It's two extremes.
Yeah.
It's two extremes.
But I can say every religious motherfucker do, but a lot of religious motherfuckers judge motherfuckers.
We do know that, you know what I mean, a lot of the world, I'm not necessarily sure about the numbers, but I do know, I think right now the highest religious affiliation is Christianity. And I find like Christians, quote unquote Christians, tend to be the worst perpetrators because they are very much so the hypocrites themselves. Woe unto you, Pharisees. You know what I mean? They don't really practice.
And I think that's unfortunate too, because I know some, like, I was once a true Christian. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I was heartbroken.
So what would you say that is? What do you mean by that?
I was once a true Christian. Like I was devoted. Like I always held religion high to me. Spirituality was always high to me. But before I could separate the two, I got my first tattoo was a cross. See what I'm saying? So shortly after, I remember even when I got into some trouble as a juvenile, I remember praying to God. I remember being in juvenile with a pocket Bible in my sock that I stole from the library. So I remember, and I remember still having that belief system in God and God getting me through that system. So I never hated God. The thing more came with when I was introduced to certain information. Like I said, I just couldn't decipher the two, and that is mainly what it is.
My thing,
me rather.
I think an important thing that Christians don't necessarily grasp when we're in times of trouble, when we find ourselves in times of trials and tribulations, and I feel like there are a good group of people who they may go to God and pray about it, and they feel like because I did that, because I believe I'm going to be. I'm not saying that you were like this, but there are a group of people who feel like because I pray about it and I believe about it, God is going to work this out for me. And if he doesn't, they take that as a reason to lose their beliefs. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there is a good subsect of that in mainstream Christianity. A lot of mainstream Christians are prosperity Christians. You know, they feel that because they believe their life is supposed to be perfect, their life is supposed to be a certain way.
My grandmother was a Christian, was a judgmental Christian, but her heart was so pure that was her only flaw with it. But she was so pure, right? And she still accepted me regardless of how I was with the religion aspect. And that was the challenge for her, because I remember at first she didn't. So it was a challenge for her the same way that she was like a big Eastern Star 33-degree Mason, got the certification.
That's interesting, that cross between the two.
Yeah, she actually is a super Eastern Star. She got the 33-degree certificate. So and then she left the Eastern Stars late. At first, when I was first, coming out the box with the religion shit, she didn't like that. They shunned me at first, but she was the one that made me feel comfortable, even though that we were able to agree to disagree. And that's the point.
That's what's important. I mean, because
no different from somebody having a child with a preference that's not theirs.
Yeah, like, we are all our own people, and we all have our own paths. You know what I mean? We're all going to take the path that we're going to take. And I think I said in the previous podcast before, the whole point of God is the person who built the chest. He built the chessboard. And he sees it. He knows how each piece is going to move. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's moving those pieces, but he's outside of that timeline. He understands each path that we are going to take to get to. Eventually, I personally do believe, when it boils down to it, at the end of the day, I don't know when this is going to be. One day, we will all know the truth.
I still don't. I'm comfortable with maybe we won't. But
I personally,
I do believe. I love that. I love that though, because I do kind of feel like that. But I do cope myself, because I'm just like, you never really just know. So I'm comfortable with that.
I feel like I said, I'm confident enough in the being that I believe and what he's told me. I am confident enough to say that there is something in each and every one of us. We have certain things that maybe we have not acknowledged that we believe, but we all believe and we all feel are true.
Man,
I feel like eventually that truth, there's going to be a point in our time, in our history, that's actualized. We're all going to know.
That. Can I give you a compliment? You personally are the most knowledgeable Christian that I've ever come across.
It's important.
And let me tell you that.
You want me to tell you why?
Feel free, take the floor.
My main, and I will say, I really do feel like, I do understand that a lot of it is experiential. You know what I mean? It's our own individual paths and our own individual ways that we get to certain things. But I've always grown up knowing who, I won't even say knowing, but knowing a God. I may not have known what God, but I've known and had some type of relationship. I prayed. I knew that about Jesus, but I didn't know about Jesus. It's like, you know what I mean? I grew up in a household who, this is Christian, you're Christian, this is who you are, this is what my mama believed. But I didn't know why. And I will say, the reason why I really started to kind of delve into it, I started to date somebody who didn't share the same beliefs as me. And I wanted to fully ground myself and understand more about what I believed as well as what other people believed, so that I would be open to what they may have had to say in, I don't know, if it was some type of a conflict, if it was just some type of questioning. I knew that I had a relationship with God. Whether or not I knew who this God was, I knew I felt him. I knew he was present in my life, and I wanted to be able to better defend some type of way in this being, and this is the thing, God don't need no type of defense, but I wanted to be able to do that because I felt like he was worth it. If I was going to believe in this being, I want to understand exactly what it is. I want to exactly know who he is. I want to fully delve myself into this. And when I started, and this is the thing a lot of people don't understand, it's not necessarily just a matter of it being something you do. It's a relationship. It's a back and forth type of communication. Prayer is just talking.
Yeah.
Prayer is just talking to God. What we don't often understand is that when you talk to God, so many people are just focused on talking to God, telling him what he wants. You don't take enough time to listen.
Right. And the one thing too, before we slide up, I want to, you said that you dated somebody before with a different viewpoint of you, right?
And still dating. This is the current person that I'm actually dating.
Look, this one thing that's deep too. Well, that's interesting. This, I gotta say this too, because that has always been a thing to where, like, I had to realize that shaped my viewpoint on, like, relationships, because there were women that I was willing to spend the rest of my life with, that I would have married, that we couldn't get past that. And
it's big, but it's heavy. It's heavy. It's definitely heavy. But like I said, it's just a matter of.
And it wasn't. But this is
just
this the thing that's deep, though. Let me say this too: the narcissistic world of religion being king, right? It wasn't me that was ever trying to force her belief.
I can guarantee you it wasn't. I already know.
And then not only that, say for instance, we raised a family, right? If I would have done that, I wouldn't even mind if my kids were religious, because
that's your openness. And it's interesting because, like I said, it's just a matter of, like I just said it, God don't need defense. He don't need defense. You know what I mean? Those who are really truly seeking will eventually find that truth.
Yeah.
You find yourself open enough to what? Because this that's a whole nother episode. This shit is like, wow. Like, we really get into it. Like, I don't even feel like this
definitely next part two to this to go in the next episode. Definitely gonna be, we need to do religion and relationships, because that part right there, like, I had to realize, like, I've always been in narcissistic relationships, because when I think about it, I never came across, there were people that I have kind of influenced that were open to belief, in that sense, that I didn't just try to push it on them, but I was, that may have shifted their perspective to a degree. But I never, it was a point in time where I was like, I was that, and I had to.
Oh, I get it. It's a process, yo. It's a process.
I was that. When I first was like, holy shit, this horror shit real. This Krishna shit real.
That's the thing. But like, when
what my first thing was? I was like, that means that Jesus shit fake. And then once I said,
but that's not the case.
Listen, there's a reason that they all have the same characteristics. Let's not get lost in translation. I say that to religious people all the time. Like, please, let's not get lost in translation, because we believe the same thing. It's just that we get too lost in translation. Some people feel comfortable saying they are this or that, and other people just don't. That's really all it comes down to. Like, I feel like I have Christian.
Man, we got it. Because, like, it's so much more to it. Because that's what I mean. It's not a matter of this or that, Chris. It's all of it.
Exactly.
It's all
that
of
shit
it.
Is deep, though. Relationships will be deep as hell for the next one, for sure. Man. So everybody tune in for the next one. It's going to dive in. We might even some people. I could probably get an X on the line that's very religious, insightful or something. Come in just for a couple minutes, just
because that's heavy.
It was never. That would always be like if certain women, no matter how good people be in love, it just be like certain people be really. It's just this God-fearing man shit. I can't.
It's three things.
I've heard that. I've heard that shit so many times to me. Like, you got to be a God-fearing man.
It's a black community. Like I said, I really don't feel like.
What the fuck does that mean? Listen, am I gonna raise?
I don't feel like they understand that.
Am I gonna love you? Am I gonna raise some kids?
I really feel like that they don't understand. But all of those characteristics that you just named, Those are qualities of a God-fearing man. That's what I mean when I don't feel like a lot of people understand what that means.
Right, like
it's something that you say, but you don't understand why you say it. And if you don't really understand why you say it, you won't understand when you got it.
Saying it, and that's all.
You won't understand why you got it.
I think that this is what it is, and this could be interesting. I do fear the universe and the higher powers to be that I don't know that created us, the gods that created us, the different gods that run the world. Now, I know that there's multiple levels of this shit that I could never just 100% fathom, and I'm okay with that. But what I'm saying is I do submit to a higher design.
That's what it's about. Understanding that where you are in your space. It's about that respect. We understand that there are certain things that we should and we should not do.
Yeah.
There's something ingrained in all of us, whether you have a belief in that being or not. The majority of us, we understand that there are some people who kind of cross those boundaries that have other reasons and issues why they may feel okay doing certain things that we all know are bad, like murdering, or you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
You don't need to have that relationship with God to understand it. And I think there are some subsects of atheists who feel like Christians are saying that just because you don't believe God exists, that you're a shit person. That's not the case at all.
I know a couple graduated atheists, and this one thing too, that's going to be the hammer in the head for the next one. Would you say that religious people go through mental health issues?
Yeah, but I will say, particularly the black community.
Right, take this though. And I'm not trying to compare, okay? But imagine how hard it is for a certain demographic of people who don't even have who don't believe in God, who when they go through certain shit, how low that they get and how low their vibration get. So I'm this high energy person, right? I've come vibrant in the room, but I realized recently, not like within the last day or so, when I told you I tried to quit smoking, like, it's exhausting, man.
Hell yeah. I'm a very lower energy person, and as somebody who, I don't know, I need a lot of time to recharge within myself. And when I have to go out there and just be,
it's exhausting.
It's just like, like I need time to literally. I feel like I gotta plug in. I just need to time to myself. It's just the most weird thing in the world. It's like social exhaustion in some type of way.
Yeah.
It really is constantly pouring your energy into other people. It really feels like it's a little battery pack.
Man, it really is.
And when you're people like you and I who feel on a deeper level, when we feel on a deeper level, we give on a deeper level as well.
Yeah, what's sad too, and I'm gonna say this on the way out, because you ever heard, Star? It's from the Star Report.
Oh yeah.
Star. All right.
Yeah.
Now Star, if you look at when I watch Star a lot. One thing I hope that I don't become is Star, and it's an old nigga who he atheist in essence, and the reason why certain atheists don't ever really find a certain soulmate or something, because it'd be like a certain level of atheists. You might love a chick. I've been in the point I'm down for whatever. We could raise the kids Muslim. Fuck it. Whatever. I'm down.
That openness, I'm telling you, bro. That openness.
There's no
I'm going
openness
to tell you right now.
But there's no openness for what I'm on. So that right there will always be a conflict for a motherfucker, unless I'll just be like, damn, I've never came across somebody who felt like me. So that's the thing. That's the.
But it's it's on the opposite side of the spectrum. I feel that because I had to be open enough to believe and change the things that I believe. I'm gonna tell you now, as soon as you start to actively seek out, instead of playing the passive, I'm going to allow what comes to me. As soon as you get to a point where you are open, but you're seeking, okay, now I understand that all of these things are, but I want to know exactly what it is, how they all play into the reality that we're in. And that, it's sad. At that point, when you're actively searching for that point, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna
This is what a lot of non-religious people get to, right? It'd be like it's a certain level of we have no choice. We live in a world where we already, it's like being black kind of, but not comparing it, but just saying like we don't have a voice. We can't speak up to be like, damn, we can't shift. We're not even trying to shift the crowd. We're just trying to exist.
It just seemed like y'all kind of just on this boat and we going along with the currents.
So we just trying to exist. Like there's not even a world for me where I could sit up there and just be as outspoken as I want to be as far as my thoughts, even though it's not offending anybody, because the current world, which
it'll offend somebody in this current world.
but you know what I'm saying, and that's the point of like the same way of like with an oppression that screams oppression to me.
Yeah,
that's what that is. And I had to realize that I got so many narcissistic relationships in my life historically, that I didn't realize long-term people in my life were narcissists, that they fed off my empathy. And it's exhausting. And I had to realize it. And just the constant battle and tug of war of being an empath that's have these long-lasting relationships with these narcissists for these so long years that I can't even really shake, or situations that I'm forced to be in, that right there, I'm just within the last month or so coming with a certain acknowledgement of that, to be like, damn, which goes back to most of my narcissistic relationships. I was never a pushover, no fuck shit like that. But like, you know,
you're a giver.
You know what I'm saying? And it's more so like, I just want it.
That's what I say.
Let me be, you know?
Pour into, like like on a deeper level, because I'm the exact same way, you know what I mean? When you feel on a deeper level, you pour into people on a deeper level as well, because you're able to feel things in a way that a lot of people cannot. So you're able to nurture in a way that a lot of people cannot.
Man, a fucking bird fixer, man, and that's the problem.
Yeah. If you're anything like me, the majority of
narcissists.
If you're anything like me, a lot of your relationships were
with narcissists
who were broken in some type of way.
And I fixed them, and then they did that, and then they flew free, and it was a beautiful thing, and I ain't even hate on it.
No, because it's like you want to see the best of people,
right?
You want to definitely see the best of people, but now here you are.
Man, just left
to build the pieces to fix the pieces.
I feel like that old man with a.
I feel like a used condom.
No, I feel like an old man with an old ass shop that used to fix something that don't need fixing for real. People.
It's now you're just left there with the remaining parts.
I'm trying to tell you, like it's really deep, man. Like when you really think about it, like so, I really, for the sake of mental health for humans. If I could just say this to religious people, from us to y'all, I know that some of us may come off hard and be this and that because we have no voice. I don't agree with some of that rhetoric, but what I'm saying is, it's so hard when we get low and feel worthless that it's like a certain level of like to pull ourselves back up to regular shit and be vibrant. It's like it's masterful. And
I mean, I'm a personal believer that
I really
there's
go
something about those low moments. I don't know. I feel like when you're at your lowest, you're the closest to God.
Yeah, I believe that too. I really do believe that.
Because there's something about those moments.
I really believe that.
That are just like I can't.
See, that's what I said. Let's not get lost in translation, because I believe that. I believe, you know, it's so crazy. I realized, and what's so crazy,
it's like a sweet sorrow in a way for me.
Yeah. And I was able to be my most strongest at my lowest.
Yeah.
And I was able to appreciate that. But
the most deepest, it's like the realest moment that you have is when you're going through something. Right. Even though it's like, I don't want this to happen at all, but it's like,
yeah, you know,
it's like I don't know, it's like, it seems like suffering is what makes us human in some type of way.
Yeah, man. I'm a tag star in that little part because, I'm about to fuck around and use him as a sponsor and shit on. See if we could put our banner on this shit. Black 11. See that banner, y'all?
Yeah.
I get that on Starz show.
I think I'm gonna make another one where it's just on the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know the size that he do, but I'm gonna let you know, and then whenever he do put that on his episode, I'm gonna send it to you so you see, because that, you know, it, like I said, it ain't too many people who I could even resonate with on my particular level with that.
It just cut out for a little bit.
All right, bet. Yeah, like it ain't too many people who I could even like I said, most of the playing field is religious, so I don't look down or anything like that. But it's just crazy how those people don't consider me.
No, yeah, and they don't consider me either, though, because like I said, a lot of the stuff that I believe, they'd be like, "What? Blasphemy!"
You definitely one of them people who will have your church will have a fire ass choir that would be like, damn, they playing.
It'll be slapping though. Like,
they got rappers. They got gospel.
Yeah, it'll be slapping because come as you are. You ain't got to dress up no type of way. Just come, yo. Just come on.
I do believe in certain pastors that have.
You want to smoke before whatever, like, but for the.
I feel like I could be a pastor, right? But I wouldn't use I wouldn't even use like a certain level of necessary Bible or whatever, but I just do believe in the power of, like, if you could lift up people who hurting, or like people who, like, I don't know what I'm using as the guiding light or the translation of it, but I would rather can we have like church services is without like the quote unquote Bible shit, because what they're doing.
Well, that's just like a motivational speaker type of gig. If you take away
I guess you're right, damn.
That's all that is. If you just take away the Bible, you know what I mean? That's just the motivation.
I ain't trying to take away the Bible, because I do believe that. Remember, I was telling you that super deep shit. The way I could argue the Bible, like I could argue the Bible.
It's a lot of it. I mean, but there's a lot. It's deep, like and when you take it, when you're able to. I think a lot of people. I could stump
a religious person too with a question because I'm petty, but I could.
That could be like. This could be like. This could be a segment that we can definitely.
Do you know what atheist?
Allow you. I know a shitload of them, Ricky. Like
a super atheist. You should let me go. You should let me go head to head with a super atheist. Because, like I said, I'm a graduated atheist.
I know, like a lot. This is the thing, yo. Like, other than I share similar beliefs with my mom and my brother. That's about it. Everybody else has their. They may know, it's like they're on different spectrums pretty much, you know what I mean? They may be leaning towards, okay, I know there's a higher being, but I don't put a name to it, or, you know, or they could be on the opposite side of the spectrum of, I don't believe that God exists, I don't need him, whatever. But I know a lot of different people who are, and these people are close to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I just personally feel like, I understand the journey we all get to, and I understand a lot of the different reasons why people have rejected this. I understand that a lot of it is not even a matter of what you are seeing and you're fed, but it's something in between. Yeah. You know.
Do you see that all oppressed people have something in common?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy to me when I see that certain oppressed groups like Christians shun me when they was getting shunned by the Catholics. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty much what it started off, yeah.
I'm like, come on, man, don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
Like, literally, this is what I mean. If this is what I mean, you're shunning other people. The person that you believe is God and man was judged. He was shunned.
Yeah.
He was an outcast, and he died because of that.
Oh God!
Like, willingly.
Yeah.
Because he did all of these things that were outside of the traditional religious field. They're doing miracles on the Sabbath.
Like, do you know that I would get married, even though that marriage is a religious tool? Like, it comes from religious in that sense. Like,
well, so I mean, it's two parts of it. Some of it is just like the business.
They made it legality, but before it was legality, it was they go back biblical to when marriage is biblical.
I mean, it's a covenant. It's a covenant that you make pretty much before God, that this is the person that I'm going to be with. I'm not having sex with no other people. This is the person. But it's just that covenant. All of the other stuff came from us. You know what I mean? Our culture, the business aspect of it. But, there weren't any ceremonies in biblical days for weddings. It was just, hey, I, before God, take this covenant that I'm not going to fuck around. You're the person who I'm going to be with. You're my wife. It's committing to that monogamy.
Yeah. And you know what I peeped too that kind of offend me too is that, like, even when I first meet chicks, right? And it'd be like, they don't realize that they'll always say something so religious, narcissistic, that it rubs me the wrong way. That it's like, no matter how good it be and get, it's always like a certain level of like people don't realize, like they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't explain.
People think they know everything.
But look, and I don't be trying to argue with it. I'm past argument.
Because I don't feel like doing all of that.
I argued for the first 4 years though. Look, I was hardcore until I got to college.
I ain't got the energy for that. I ain't got the energy. But you was going to law school. That's all lawyers do.
I stopped by then. But I went to.
But that you having that little bit of energy in you.
No, look, I went to a Catholic college. University.
Yeah, UD Mercy. Yeah.
Is a Catholic school, and I had to take a religious class with a minister dude. So I had to. What I'm telling you is that I'm not biased at all, and I'm receptive to all of the different things. So like, even if I got married, it was just because I believe that I should give that to a woman that is willing to be my wife. Even though that I don't care about what I would do, it ain't deep to me. I don't give a fuck. But I know that that's like something that I would just do if I found somebody like. But I wouldn't just do it. It ain't that deep to me. I don't give a fuck. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people don't necessarily even need to be married. A lot of people aren't even necessarily meant to be married, which is something that we don't really.
Right. People don't feel complete when they don't have somebody, but I'm fortunate enough to be somebody who I don't look at myself any less for.
That's like, you have to understand how much,
which is a luxury. That's why I was telling you. Like,
very much so.
It was a luxury. That's why I'm getting that with the shit. Like, I know that my belief system is kind of a luxury aspect. It's hard. I don't expect anybody else to be like, because I know a lot of people lean on love. They rely on somebody. Me, type person I am, I feel like, you know what? I got so much mental baggage at this point. I need to sort through my own shit. Or if not, I wouldn't even want to put this on you, even if you was ready to sort this shit out with me.
That's very mature of you, though, because so many people are not that giving. Again, so many people are very selfish, where it's just like, I don't care what you are going through, as long as you're pouring into me, as long as you're making me feel better.
No, hell no. Like, I don't even. I've realized most of my relationships have been with narcissists because empaths.
Because they need that constant giving.
Yeah, and because empaths is like, I don't like, compliments make me feel weird.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's like you don't know how to necessarily respond to them.
Right. I don't give a fuck if I try. I don't care. Like, if, man, you see me, I'm coming from prom today. Prom, nigga, it's prom night. And you talking about, Chris, you look nice. Just don't even
down.
Like
got like the
You know, so I don't even like that. So that shit make me feel weird. So I can't. I had to realize that, like, I have a problem with narcissists feeding off of me, and like, I've had to cut a lot of people loose. I had to distance myself, and I'm still doing that. So it's like, it's just deep, man. It's deep. So, whatever. We got a lot to talk about next episode.
For sure. Much more continuation.
We went 2 hours. We went 4 minutes to 2 hours.
Nice. That's a good, nice listen. A good, nice listen for sure. Yeah,
we definitely covered a lot there.
Yeah. And much more next time. We'll dive a lot into some other stuff, pop culture shit, some deeper thoughts, a little bit of everything, like it seemed like we normally do. It flow pretty naturally.
If I should get somebody who I was like, because I'm so open book, man. I'm telling you, I get what
one thing I think I want you to do. Maybe one day we can do like a question answer response, and all of the questions that you've had going through your religious or whatever, all of those questions that you would have for somebody. I want you to compile a list, and I'm gonna see what I can answer.
I was trying for like a religious person.
Yeah. Yeah, just like, you know what I mean? When you went through those experiences, the questions that you have, or even now, you're looking now.
I don't have a motive to shift. That's the thing. I'm not a killer. I'm not trying to rob someone of their belief system.
No, for sure. But I think I guess the motive would be for the people who have those type of situations.
I would rather help you equip your argument. Just because I'm a giver, like.
More than anything, I think it'll be, for me, I would like to address the people who have those type of experiences that you had.
Okay, yeah, hell yeah.
You found those holes, those answers that you weren't able
to. So I'm not necessarily to you, but just like my experiences with religion.
Yeah, okay. Because I mean, I feel like there's benefits in being open-minded and having those truths that you have. You know what I mean? Whether or not you subscribe yourself to a certain religion, you do have positive claims that there are certain things in the world that you know. You know what I mean? Now, whether that be, it could be as far as spiritual being, Nephilim. You know what I mean?
I have I feel like I got certain Christian values, but that's the thing. I could say that though. That doesn't mean that I'm a Christian, but that doesn't. I want everybody who feel like me to not have to be so rebellious to feel like you can't say that.
And I think there's an advantage. I think we both what it boils down to is we both believe that there is an advantage in having that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Having that willingness to accept things may not be as they seem.
Exactly.
They may be a little bit deeper than what you have right in front of you, or even what people have been telling you all of your life. And when you don't get that answer right away, that doesn't mean give up.
Right. Yeah, so that shit deep, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Anything, what you got to close out. Don't you say you got something special that you like?
Man, I'm trying to come up with something. I think as the podcast go by, I'm gonna try to curate something real dope, some motivational words or something for everybody. But thank you.
I could definitely. I mean, you got anything you want to tell the people, like specifically?
Thank you for tuning in. It's been real. It's been great. I've enjoyed it. And I guess the moral of this whole thing is just stay open to what is out there. You know, don't close yourself off. Just leave yourself open to whatever. I don't know, whatever that thing deep down in you is pulling you to, right. Leave yourself open to that.
Right. And I wouldn't just let people know too, because like I said, I'm going through something with my mental health as far as like realizing the narcissistic abuse that I've not only subjected myself to, but just had over the years, and like waking up to that shit is like dizzy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like just trying to balance, and not only that, not being religious, not realizing that is making it harder, but not saying, but because the type of person I'm in, like I could just plug religion in because I'm not fake. So the point of what I'm saying is I am who I am. But so even if in my hard times that may be my hinder, that may not be, whatever the case, but just saying, you know, I just feel like we never know what people going through. So for everybody listening, whatever you believe, whatever your preference, whatever this and that, you know what I'm saying? You know, the whole point of like, you know, this shit is just to make everybody feel like, yo, you have a space in this world, even if it's not one designated for you.
We all have like I said earlier, we all have our own journey, you know. We all have our own journeys. We all have our own paths that we're going to take. But I think, again, it's just important to stay open to that change.
Right.
Open to that shift.
Right. So appreciate it, man. We do this. I can't wait to see this outcome, though.
This shit gonna be good. This will be good. Thank you once again. Follow us on all of our platforms. We getting more up, getting the YouTube together and everything.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Facebook and Twitter coming soon, and Instagram. We're gonna have it all, the link tree ready and all that.
Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. You can also follow us on each of our individual platforms. We also do other things outside of this. You can follow me on social media at Moxie with the camera, MoxieWitTheCamera.
And I'm Chris at Chris Lewie, and that's Lewie. No underscores, just all Chris Lewie. All sites. Appreciate everybody.
It's been real, y'all. Black 11 Podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.